Hey guys, Courtney here with another Wellness Wednesday yoga class. This time I'm sharing some of my favorite yoga moves for when you're traveling or you're road tripping or stuck in the car for an extended period of time. This is Rosa here. She has chosen that she has to be held, and now she's done. Anyways, when you're ready, hop into something comfy, maybe pop on some tunes or bookmark this video for later to help de-stress when you're in the car for an extended amount of time. All right, guys, so my first and favorite yoga move that I recommend you use when you're traveling or road tripping is one that I incorporate in a lot of my classes. You can do any variation of this and reap all the fantastic benefits. So to get started, I highly recommend before you hop in the car on a road trip, I recommend that you work out your spine and get it moving and flowing just a little bit with my favorite yoga move, cat-cow. So there are several variations you can do. One of my favorites is, of course, the seated cat-cow, which I'll turn to my side just so you can kind of see my back here. In a seated cat-cow, your hands are placed on your knees, sit bones are really grounded, and you're just going to move with the breath. On your inhale, you're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders kind of round up and back, really opening up that chest as you breathe in, feeling that nice expansion, shoulders falling back, relaxing. On exhale, you round the back, rounding those shoulders, really leaning back slightly. Inhaling up nice and tall, shoulders relaxing, giving kind of a little back bend action here. Exhaling, rounding back. Inhaling tall. Exhale, round the back. Inhale tall. Exhale, round the back. You could continue doing that. This is great if you need to do yoga in a chair, if you aren't able to get on your knees. Regular cat-cow is also a fantastic option. So in our regular cat-cow, I do incorporate this a lot in my classes. You're really pressing into your fingertips here, wrists underneath elbows, elbows underneath those shoulders. Knees are about hip distance apart, pressing into the tops of the feet. It's just that same spinal flexion. Inhaling, dropping the belly, tailbone raises, head raises. Taking a deep breath, filling the lungs with all the good air. Exhaling, rounding the back, tucking that tailbone under, head lowers, really pressing into those fingertips, the tops of the toes. Inhaling, dropping the belly. Exhaling, rounding back. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round the back. So you can always do a variation of this standing with maybe arms up and just moving that spine. Whatever works best for you. This is just a great move to kind of get that spine moving before you're seated in the car and stressed out. So if you get a chance, I highly recommend starting your day with the cat-cow before you hit a day of traveling. All right, so my second favorite yoga pose is one that I would use when I am at a rest stop and I need to kind of move my body a little bit and release tension in the shoulders and the lower back. And it's a wide-legged forward fold. Other movements are also great after being stuck in the car and you need to move at the rest stop to get the blood flowing. But this is a really good one because it helps kind of ease any tension in the mind. And like I said, the shoulders and lower back. So for a wide-legged forward fold, you're just stepping out a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Toes point out towards the corner of the mat. Just hinging at the hips, you can come down, allowing hands either to rest on the ground. If this is inaccessible to you, you might widen your stance a little bit to make it a little bit easier. You might have a book or something on the ground. Just finding a place of comfort here, allowing the head to fall, shoulders to relax. Keeping a slight micro bend in those knees. You never want to collapse those knees. Just stay here for a few cycles of breath as we breathe in and out, in and out, in and out. To get out of this pose, you can gently heel toe in if that's accessible to you and slowly round back up. I highly recommend using this pose with other stretches, maybe nice twists when you get out of the car, maybe a gentle walk, maybe a nice side body stretch. Just finding what feels good for you whenever you are at a rest stop and taking a break. Just finding something to get the body moving and flowing. But definitely recommend a wide-legged forward fold. Sometimes it's something that you forget about, but it's absolutely great to calm the mind and, like I said, help with that shoulders and the lower back. All right, so you've arrived at your destination and your hips are feeling tight, your lower back is tight from being seated in the car. What do you do? So these next two poses I'm going to show you are two of my favorites to kind of ease that tension and stress. They're really short and easy to do. I don't have to go do a whole yoga flow to work it out. If you only have a few minutes, I highly recommend doing these to kind of work out that tension. So for our first one, or our number 3, we are going to do our bridge pose. So I often incorporate this in my class. We're laying on our backs, really pressing into the ground, maybe adjusting a ponytail if it's not quite the right place. And walking those heels in towards the buttocks, we'll get ready for this bridge raise pose. In our bridge raise pose, we're not going to place any tension or stress in the neck. We're going to push down with energy into those feet, into the legs, and lift the buttocks up off the mat, raising the hips up towards the sky. Once again, no strain or tension in the neck. We're not having any, we're not allowing those knees to fall out to the sides. We're really grounding those feet down. Imagine there's a block in between those legs as we lift up maybe just a bit higher. And then we can gently lower back down to the mat. Inhaling up, nice and tall. Nice bridge raise pose. Back down. One more time. Up. And then we can gently lower back down. So like I said, that pose is really great to kind of re-energize the legs, help the lower back. It is fantastic, just a quick little yoga move you can do to re-energize after being seated for a while. So our next pose is our thread the needle pose on our back, almost a supine pigeon. And it's going to help with alleviating any tension or stress in the hips. A lot of times the small of the back and the hips are related, and so anytime that you've been seated for way too long, these two are great poses to incorporate to help kind of de-stress. So for our kind of eye of the needle pose, we're going to go ahead and cross the right ankle over the top of the left thigh, allowing the knee to fall out to the side here, almost making a figure 4 with the legs. This is a nice gentle stretch on the hips. If this is where your body's at, that's okay. It might be super tight from being in the car. That's That's okay. This is a great stretch. If you stay here, that's awesome. Or if you need to add a little extra resistance, you can lift that left foot up off the mat, allowing a deeper stretch on the right thigh here. And to add even more resistance, you might interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. And I think the cat's saying hi to the camera. Allowing that left knee to come in just a bit closer to the body for a deeper stretch. So for this, we're threading the needle here with a bind. We're grabbing that inside of the left thigh through the eye of the needle. And so you can stay here for however long is best for you. I usually recommend about 5 cycles of breath. So we can breathe in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and release. So I highly recommend you do both sides in your actual travels. We want to make sure that our body is balanced and energized and stretched out, especially if you're stuck after traveling. But keep in mind, all of these poses are great to use at any point. If your lower back's bothering you, the bridge pose is great. The hip stretch we just did is fantastic. Working out the spine is always a good option. So maybe incorporate them in your life if you are seated at a desk too long or you just need to get your body flowing. Anyways, thank you for joining me today. I will catch you next week. Namaste.